All right, so you should have created a document with these settings. Brushes intro, we're going to be talking about brushes, kind of what they might look like, sizing them, what kinds of things you can do with them, and so on. So you need an 11 by 8 document. Make sure that it was in inches. Everyone needs to maybe hit Control R if your ruler is not being shown, and make sure that it is showing across the top 11 inches and along the side 8 inches. If it's like not even an inch, you might need to cancel that document, go back and decide if, maybe check to make sure you didn't put pixels in right here. Okay? And that's something I do want to note really quick. Let's say I set the 11 by 8 and I'm like, oh shoot, I need it in pixels, or vice versa. As soon as I change to pixels, or here, let's say I'm in pixels and I set 11 by 8, and I'm like, oh shoot, I need inches. Notice it's going to scale your pixels down to be 11 by 8 inches in, or 11 by 8 pixels in inches. So you need to set this part first and then go in and set your width and height. Okay, I think a few of you got in trouble on the last project with that. Resolution 300, white background, create. Okay. So like I said, have Google Classroom up and be in the classwork tab for me. I haven't created an assignment out here yet. Today is just going to be kind of playing around and practicing. Tomorrow we'll start our project that includes the brushes. But down here under materials. Okay, so scroll down and go to materials for me. There is a link or material called Brush Easy. And I want you guys to click on that and go to that link, and I want to explain what Brush Easy is, what you might be using it for, how to use it, that sort of thing. Okay. Photoshop has a lot of preset brushes for you to use. However, you can import new brushes that can create different effects for you. With our school computers, brushes are the only thing you can import. Backgrounds you would find like as images, but typography like fonts and things, if you had a personal computer with Photoshop and was on a personal Wi-Fi or internet, you guys could import different fonts and things and make that look cool. So for example, the font that we use for all of the Buffs Athletics stuff, that is not a font that is just default in Photoshop. It's something that we have, that we download into Photoshop. But because you're on a school computer, you don't have administrative privileges and you cannot download fonts. Brushes, for some reason though, you can download. So this Brush Easy, we're going to come back to it. I just want to make sure you had it open in a link, is a place where you can go in and find and import new brushes. Okay? Right now what I want everyone to do is go back to Photoshop. And let's talk about the basics of brushes, sizing them, what it's going to look like, that sort of thing. Okay? I'm going to close that group. With brushes, similar to you using the marquee tool and filling a box, you will want to create a new layer so that you can resize things. So let's go ahead. We're going to create a new layer in our document. The keyboard shortcut to get to brushes is just B. B as in boy, B as in brush. Okay, and you'll look along the top. We have our extra settings with brushes. Right here, this drop down is where you will find the styles of brushes that you can start to play with. So they have some set right here. So we're just going to go to a general brush for right now. Click the little arrow to expand. Okay, go. Window. Workspace. Reset Essentials. click on Reset Essentials. There you go. All right. So here are our brushes. As you click on some of these, you're going to see basically in the general brushes what it's doing is it's adjusting your size and your hardness. Okay, so let's talk about what it means for the hardness to be 0% versus 100. So 0 just means you're going to have a softer edge. It's not going to be such a hard-edged brush. The harder it is, percentage-wise, the more solid those edges are going to be. Okay? So right now what I want to do, let's just pick a hard round brush, 100%. Size, you can drag it up and you'll see when you put your mouse out here what that looks like. So let's just go for right now something, I don't know, 100 pixels-ish. You can always type in 100 and push enter. So you should have a brush about like this. It's going to draw whatever color is on top right here. So everyone, what was our keyboard shortcut to go back to our default colors for foreground and background? Default starts with a D, so push D. Okay, that's going to get where we have black on top, white on bottom. So now when you draw, you should be getting a black line. Okay, a couple of things with brushes that I just want to show you. And then we're going to actually maybe start to draw a little bit of a picture. So I want everyone to try to freehand their best straight line. Wow, that is magical what Mrs. Payne has. Try to freehand your best straight line. Okay? Yes. What's all black? Okay, give me just a second. You're on your eraser, so push B. Okay. Yep. You're all right. All right, so coming back over here. All right, now what I want you to try to do, try this time, press and hold Shift, and then click, oh, not Shift. Yeah, press and hold Shift, and then click and drag your line. You can just Control Z, Control Z. So if it's trying to connect, Control Z so you get back your basic canvas. If you press and hold Control while dragging and then try to go crazy, what's it doing for you? It's not letting you draw a crooked line. So Shift is how you would create a precisely straight line. Now, let's say you do want to create a perfect Z, or like I see some triangles or something. If I press and hold Shift while drawing, and then I click down here and press and hold Shift, it's going to connect my lines for me. Like an Etch-a-Sketch. You need to click on a layer. Yep. So if you're getting like a no, like let's say I'm clicked out here and you guys see how my mouse is basically like a you shall not pass, you will not do anything. You need to make sure that you have a layer selected because it's just basically saying there's nothing for it to draw on because there's no pixels selected. Just Shift. Yep. Okay. Control Z, get back a blank layer, or you can delete your layer and re-add a new one. So just a few little brush tips and tricks. The next tip and trick that I want to show you is, let's say as you're drawing, you're like, oh, that's too small of a brush size. You can resize it one of two ways. You can come up here and drag, okay? Or everyone point to the P key, like hover over the P key on your keyboard. Just hover over it. To the right of that, there are two sets of brackets. Okay, if you just press the left bracket, it's going to make it smaller. If you press the right bracket, it's going to make it bigger. So that's a quick way to resize your brushes where you don't have to drag. You know, sometimes man, you guys just make me feel good every day. If you want to change the color, all you have to do is come up here to your color swatches or over here at the bottom, and you guys can change your color. Okay? What I want you to do right now is get two complementing colors. This is the next thing that I'm going to show you. Get two complementing colors. So, purple, and then if you click on the secondary, the white one, double click on that. Yep. So if you don't have the color thing on the side, you can always change it down here at the bottom. If you would like a color thing on the side, then you would go Window, Color, or push F6, and that will give you your color window, your swatches. Okay, so get me two complementing colors. Pushing what? Okay, or you can click Window and just click on Color right here. Alright, so do we have two complementing colors selected? I've got purple and green. You don't have to choose mine. I've got some pinks and greens, some red and greens, some Christmas feels going on. Katie, do you miss Christmas? It's not blue. It's not blue, Evelina. It's green. I'm just messing. Alright. So what I want you guys to do is on your first layer, just write your first initial of your name, just pretending drawing it. Okay, just one letter, your first initial of your name. Does not have to be perfect. We're just messing around. We'll delete this in a second. Okay, now I've got two colors selected. To quickly switch between the purple and the green or whatever your complementing colors are, if you hit X on your keyboard, that's going to switch the colors. Now draw your second letter of your initial. Okay? Again, we're just messing around today. We are trying to figure out our brushes. What are some other keyboard shortcuts we can be using? So X, like I said, is going to get us back and forth between two colors. If you're using more than that, then you'll actually have to go change your swatches over here. There's not much I can do about that. But if you want a few colors, and so a lot of you, if you have this screen up, you should have a swatches tab, and that's going to show up here your most recently used colors. So if you don't want to keep trying to find the exact color of green you used 5 colors ago, if you go to swatches, it's going to give you your most recently used colors. You can tell I like purple when I'm displaying things to you guys. For good reason, that's right. Okay. Alright, let's go back to this layer 1. Just delete it and add a new layer. I know a lot of you spend a lot of time drawing those beautiful initials, but we're going to come back. Okay, so on your layer 1, create your new layer. I want you to draw me a house. Okay? I am going to get back to my default colors. I'm going to make my house black for right now. How do I get back to my default colors? What was it? D. Okay, making sure I'm drawing on a new layer. I'm going to do my best and draw this beautiful house. You guys see how good of an artist I am? Like the best. Okay, again, you can try, make your straight lines. That's what I probably should have done, is pressed and held shift so that I could have straighter lines. That would have probably been a good thing to do. Just a basic house with a roof. That's all we need. The necessities. I didn't use shift on that on my first line up. Your house does not have to be perfect. So the thing with the shift key, while yes, you can draw straight lines, it's going to try to connect with the last thing you left off with. So if, for example, some of you drew your roof up here, okay, and then you were trying to push shift, it's trying to connect from that top part up there. That's why it's kind of a clunky tool, but it's nice in a pinch. You're not going to be drawing very many pictures in Photoshop, okay? The big thing with brushes is they work very similar. It's the same thing as using an eraser, all right? And we'll get into the eraser tool and how we can use it later. If you're looking at a device or have headphones in your ears, you can put those away, okay? Thank you. Now let me show you why I wanted you to do this on its own layer. With layer 1 selected, if you hit Control-T, now I can resize my house and make it bigger or smaller as needed. So that's the importance of when you do things like brushes and erasers, those things are destructive. That means you can't go back later, especially if you were drawing on top of an image. So it's important to create new layers on things so that you can go back and adjust as needed. Okay? So maybe I wanted to make my house a little bigger. This mansion. Okay? And press and hold or push enter to save. Okay. The next thing that I want to do is I want to add a little bit of grass. But let's go over to Brush Easy to see if they have some grass that we could use. Yes. No, if you wanted to change the color is what Jade is asking, you would probably use a wand tool, which we're going to get into in a future lesson, to change your color. So going back into Brush Easy, we want standard or free brushes. So remember, Brush Easy is where you guys can go add different styles of brushes that maybe don't come standard in Photoshop, okay? There used to be kind of a grass brush in Photoshop, but with the new CC, they took it out. So let's see. You guys see Grass 3? You guys see that one? You could always search this exact thing, Grass Photoshop Brushes 3. Let's all download the same one. I'll give you your steps here in a second. So it's going to come with 15 Grass Photoshop brushes. My husband would be so proud. Me, grass is grass, but for him, there's fine blades and thick blade and so on and so forth, you know. Yeah, he's a golf person. He would probably kill me if I said grass is grass, but to me, it's grass. Yeah, for him, with technology, he says tech is tech, so. And if it doesn't work, it's my fault, you know. Alright, so you're going to click free download and then just give it a second. Jesse, did you get that? Okay, so can you pull up Google or your Chrome for me? So everyone should be on Chrome. Kiana's is downloading. DeMercy's is... Oh, it's just your ads? Okay. Alright, so does everyone have... Naeli's just popped up. John's has not popped up yet. Down at the bottom, once your download comes to be, you should have the zip file down here. Okay. What I want you to do is come down here, actually go to your Start menu for me. Let's go to Documents, like we did before when we were setting up our OneDrive and all our files. Okay, let me do that again. Go to your Start menu, go to Documents. Oh, sorry, it's not showing my Start menu because I'm on a different screen. My bad. Let me come over here. Told you this whole 3-monitor system, I'm getting used to it. All right, go to the Start menu and go to Documents. It's the little... So that's going to pull up this. Go to your Downloads. Up here, you should see the zipped folder. We're going to double click on it. Your Grass Photoshop. Give it a second. Windows 10 is making it a little more complicated than 7 did, so. Carson, you just have a seat over here. I hope you're going to have to be patient, though. Yeah. So you've got, are we all here? Yeah, if it's coming with a tip, just say close. Okay. Side conversations with pause. I know we're working at different speeds, but it helps if we just stay quiet between lulls. Let's hit extract. Browse. Let's go to our Photoshop file, or your computer graphics file. You guys finding it? Okay, let's change of plans. Like I said, this is different than the last time that I had to do this. Go just to your H drive. We'll just go to your H drive. So that's your last name, first initial. We'll put it on there. Just click once on your H drive and say OK. And you'll say OK. Say OK, OK. And close out of that extraction. Katie, did you get that? Or okay, let's go back here to your documents. Over here on the side where it says this PC, that's how you're going to get back to your H drive. And you should see your Grass Photoshop Brushes 3 document. And just double click on that. Micah, what's your error message say? Anyone else get an error message? It should be if you go to this PC. Click on your name. Grass Photoshop Brushes 3. When you double click on that, it should open up Photoshop and it should work fine unless you are Levi or Micah. Okay, after you double click on that in the downloads, I promise it won't be that clunky or difficult the next time you do it because you'll just know the steps. After you've done that, if you come up here to your brushes and scroll down to the bottom, you should see your Grass Photoshop brushes. Yes? Expand that arrow. And right now it's not going to look like grass, but if you click on it once and then kind of hover out here, you're going to be able to see what kind of grass brushes you've been given. This looks more like, so my husband would be proud. I'd say this is like a native grass. You see how it's kind of like varying sizes. I also got my guy that mows grass over here. Would you say it was like a native grass? Yeah, it might need a weed eater, yeah. Yeah. Alright, so just pick a brush, I don't care what. Again, how do I resize my brush quickly? Those brackets. So I'm going to make mine a little bit smaller. Now if I just push it once, my grass is going to be black. So what do I need to do first? Go over here and find a green. See if I can find the perfect green. Oh yeah, that's like a luscious grass. So you guys could draw a little bit of grass in here. Make it thicker by just putting it in a couple of times. The grass is always greener on the other side. Your grass doesn't look very green. It looks kind of... It's like a seaweed grass. Okay, maybe I want to go in find a different brush. What I want you guys to do right now, for the next, let's go 5-7 minutes, is I want you to kind of draw your scene. So keep in mind, with every new feature you're adding, it would be a good idea to add a new layer. So let's say I want to go in and draw a tree, for example. A tree. It's not Southwest Kansas, you know? Because I know the Buffalo Brown RGB to get my bark. Maybe you go back out to Brush Easy and you find some leaves to add in there for your tree if that's what you feel like doing. Alright, so just add some features. You maybe add a person, draw a person, whatever you'd like to do. Just kind of complete your scene. Explore some of your brush options. Don't just hang out in those general brushes. Go back and let's see what's in special effects. Let's see what's in like dry versus wet media. Those that are artists have taken your art classes here and very familiar with other brushes, you'll know what some of that means better than I will. I guess here's one last thing that I meant to show you. The grass thing, it's not going to be as practical of a use, I guess I could say. You can actually rotate your brushes. So let's say I wanted to rotate or alter my brush. With this part expanded, let's put eyes on my screen just so you see this little part. With my brush selected, this guy right here, you can rotate your brush so it faces different ways. This will allow for you to maybe get some different effects with your brushes. Okay? So that's under the brush settings right here. And it's this guy right here is going to let you rotate your brush. Okay? So I'm going to give you about 5-ish minutes to play around, add to your scene. I'll walk around and help those that maybe if you need some help, you got lost at some point. Okay? Again, once you draw, let's say I made my tree too big, I can always Control T. Oops. I can always Control T and resize my tree a little bit. I don't want it bigger than my house. I don't want it to fall on it. This is like a tree in Southwest Kansas. Not anywhere else. All right?